here in sunny New Zealand, although a little bit on the brisk side this morning. Right, let me get set up. Bear with me. Let's see how well YouTube's going to act this morning. It's a good job we're on the workshop Wi-Fi, because I did a speed test on my phone data, and it's like 1.7 megabytes per second upload speed, which is horrendous. Right, we've done a refresh. Let's see if we've got the live stream showing. We have. Excellent. We can see who's in the workshop. We've got first one through the door this morning, Simon Roll. Good morning, Simon. Simon says, good morning, Andy and crew. Igor's Dubrovskis. Good evening, Igor's. JJ, morning, Andy and crew. Morning, JJ. Good job, matey. Jim Haynes at the races today, last one of the year in Hampton, Virginia. But I did hit the like button early to be sure. Thank you very much, Jim. Appreciate that. I nearly put my cigarette in my coffee then. Won't make a lot of difference. It's bloody cold. We have Sheldon in the workshop. Morning, Sheldon. We had a good discussion yesterday on Facebook Messenger, as always. Daz 323323. Morning, Andy and crew. Good morning, Daz. And welcome back, sir. Sheldon, go well, Jim. Absolutely. Jim, actually, he's not racing. He is, from what I understand it, and I'm sure Jim will correct me again, but he's more of a scrutineer, kind of an organizer of the events, as opposed to behind the wheel. But I mean, what a great job to see all that racing and be so heavily involved. Fantastic. Does a great job. Vijayant Governor. Hello, Andy and crew from South Africa. Good morning, Vijayant, and welcome back to my workshop. We've got 1967 DKB. Hi, Andy from Australia, or as they call it, Australia. There you go. There's an accent for you. As luck would have it, I've been asked to go back to Australia for some training. Different kind of training. I can't disclose what it is, but yes. It's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. Yes, so looking forward to that at some point. Did check my passport and it's expired. So Mrs. Mechanic has got a new passport application to do for me as quickly as possible, basically. So what's been going on this week? Well, it's been quite a busy week. Oh my word. Let's remind me tomorrow. That'll do fine. Thank you very much. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I was in. Well, in fact, let's start with Sunday. What are we doing on Sunday? I think on Sunday we must have been doing some fabrication work on Sunday, because we've been flat out doing that. So let's say we did that. Got all that finished off. Pretty sure Mrs. Mechanic, yes, she was sandblasting. She sandblasted all day Saturday. As soon as the live stream finished, Sunday, all day Monday, and all day Tuesday. And got all the plates done for one of the kits. As you saw in the thumbnail, they're all now sprayed and hung up outside. So they're very close. We've got one more bracket to do this morning. I've got to stamp them left and right, and then we've got to dip paint them. We've started to get the hang of this dip painting like. It doesn't leave as good a finish as spraying them, but it's a lot quicker, a lot less messy, and we've got the paint thinning sort of down to a T now. And believe it or not, even though we get a few drips, and you'll see some little black drips around the workshop, despite putting cardboard down, we don't waste as much paint either. Even though, you know, we lose a bit, when you're spraying, it's amazing how much you lose, because a lot of it doesn't go on the piece, especially on the really small work pieces. So we've sort of adopted that for everything now, but the large plates, which have to be sprayed, obviously. Oh, Vijayant, for how long are you going to Australia? I don't know yet. It's probably be there about 4 days, maybe 3 days actually on site. That's the plan. I'm only guessing at this point in time, but sort of having a rough idea of what I have to do when I'm there, I think 3 days on site will probably be about right. Because by the time I get there, the day's almost over, I think, or other way around. No, the other way around. So I usually fly out in the morning, And then they're just getting out of bed when I arrive because of all the time differences. So the first day is just mental because you're absolutely knackered by about tea time. Tuesday will be a normal day, provided I can get out of bed. Although I get a lie in, I suppose. Probably get a lie in, won't I? Because of the time difference. And then Wednesday, probably there a whole day, and then fly back on the Thursday. Maybe. I just don't know. I'm only guessing at this point in time. Oh my word. Right. J. Billy Josh. Andy, help please. 1989 TZR125. For some reason, no full beam. Tested continuity, all good. Clean switch, two good bulbs, but still nothing. Any idea? Double check. Just double check your bulbs as well. Because sometimes I've come across them being wired up a bit different. You've maybe got the wrong bulbs for the bike. That's one possibility. You've got to work out whether it's I can't remember, to be perfectly honest, whether it's a switched ground or a switched live, you know. It depends on the bike, how they do it. But, you know, end of the day, chase it with a test light. You should be able to work out what's going on. Have you been into the switch? Oh, clean the switch, yeah. Two good bulbs. Don't know, without being there, to be honest. Should be pretty simple. You've only got 3 wires. One is either a common ground or a common feed, depending on how it's wired up. And then the other 2 circuits, obviously your dip and your main, will either be connected to live, if it's a common ground, or they'll be connected to a ground. So, I mean, you could work that out first. I mean, obviously, if you're getting dip beam, but no main beam, is that what it is? Yeah, no full beam. So you've got some power to the headlight. One of the circuits works, so you'll be able to work out which is the common. If you get your multimeter out, you can work out with continuity test which is the common terminal on the bulb, and then just go from there, basically. Connor K, morning Andy and crew. Hope everybody's doing well. Just fine. Anyway, back to, sorry Connor, welcome back to the workshop, sir. Back to the week. So Thursday morning, went up to Auckland, had some vehicles to collect. On the way up, took the big trailer for its recheck on the warranty fitness inspection, and pleased to say it passed. However, a little bit perturbed in the fact that the gentleman that was doing the inspection, he'd said on the original inspection that the breakaway cable should be connected to the vehicle using a D-shackle and not using the quick clip. Have I got the other one around here? I have. Hang on, bear with me. Enjoy the view. Look at that, a live stream and nobody in it. Fantastic. So this is the old cable. I bought a new one. And yes, this one had to be replaced because this little quick connect here, you use these kind of things on key rings and stuff. I used to use them a lot in the UK on the Jeep key rings. And unfortunately, a handy mechanic left this on one day when he was unhitching the trailer. I must have got distracted for some reason and then set off. And sure enough, what happens, it was a good little test actually, what happens is the roll of this cable, and this is on one of the Ifor Williams trailers, its job is only once if the trailer becomes unhitched on the tow ball, obviously it's going to start to slow down, and this cable then goes tight and it's connected to the underside, the opposite side of the pivot, to the handbrake lever on the trailer, and its job is to apply the handbrake. That's it. And then the trailer hopefully will stop in a straight line, and then you can go back and hitch it back on again, find out what the problem is. Anyway, when it broke, that little ferrule at the end there that crimps around the actual cable, that pulls off, and obviously then there's no connection between the trailer and the vehicle at all. And that's exactly what had happened in the driveway. It went plink, and that was it. It just broke basically. So I fixed this one up, but it did stress the little clip a little bit. I couldn't be bothered to fix that. It sort of worked good enough for the time being. Anyway, he says, no, this has to be replaced and it needs to be a D-shackle. And I says, well, not really. It's plenty strong enough just to apply the handbrake. And he's like, what do you mean? So he didn't actually understand how the system even worked. And to be perfectly honest, if you're doing a warrant of fitness or something to check the mechanical integrity of the system, which is what you're doing, you should really have a basic understanding of how the system actually works. So I then spent 5 minutes explaining to him why Eiffel Williams have chosen this method, why it's quite popular in the UK, and obviously it's on all of their trailers, and the fact that, you know, here in New Zealand they chain the trailer to the towing vehicle using quite a strong chain, and if you're over 2.5 ton, you have to have 2 chains, believe it or not. And the idea is that the trailer then stays with the vehicle. I don't like that because the trailer starts to flap around and it can cause instability with the towing vehicle and cause quite a nasty accident. If your trailer comes unhitched, the last thing you want is it's still tethered in some way to your vehicle. You know, you want to be able to pull up safely. I mean, at the end of the day, your car's got humans in it. You know, you don't want to put them at risk. Me, for example. And then, you know, you go back and hitch your trailer up when it's the UK style. So I bought a new one of these, fitted to the trailer, and he says, "Oh, you need a D-shackle." I says, "No. Explain the system to him, and then it sort of clicked, but he still was really grumpy. He says, "Oh, it should be a D-shackle." I said, "Well, sorry, mate, but that's as the trailers are designed. They comply to New Zealand requirements, and this is a great idea." So he gave me the warrant, but you could tell he was a bit grumpy. But I did praise him for spotting the loose bolts on the spring mounts, and I actually told him that one of the bolts had even snapped, which he hadn't picked up on because it was still in place. But it definitely should have failed the warrant, and now it's passed the warrant. It's got new tyres on it, and it's got a new breakaway cable, and all the bolts have been sorted out, whether they've been retorqued. You know, every bolt's been taken out, inspected, put back in, retorqued. Even the ones that were tight weren't tight enough; they were way under torque. So we fixed all of that, and the trailer's good to go. And in Auckland, it was loaded up, and I came back. I managed to get away about 12:30, 1 o'clock, I think it was. I finally got away. It took a while to load up because I had a lot of other crap to put in the truck as well. But we got there, and they're here now. And this afternoon, about 2 o'clock, hopefully, I'll be leaving for Palmerston North. And next week, I'm doing some filming. That's right. I'm doing some filming on a new model ROV down on a farm. And that should be fun, actually. As long as the weather holds out, it should be pretty good. And this time, they've got me wearing overalls. Yes. Not over impressed. I tend to get a good pie silhouette when I'm wearing overalls. Anyway, maybe I can convince them otherwise once they see me wearing the overalls. Right. Where do we get to? Rewind. Oh my word. Geez, you guys have been busy. David Lane, 3,000. Hey, Andy from sunny UK. Good morning, David. Welcome to the workshop, sir, on this brisk Sunday morning. At least it's not raining. Simon, there you go. Look, use a test light for the load. Perfect. Cheers, Simon. Vijayant, J. Billy Josh, check your earth. That's right. Vijayant Governor, the ground. If the ground's missing, you tend to get, I think both filaments light up, don't they? And it's quite dull. So, I don't know if it's going to be that or not. Julie Bay Josh, everything else works. Lights, bike, the lot. I've tried nearly everything that's been suggested, so I'm baffled now. It can't be that hard, you know? I mean, just check that your high and low dip beam switch is actually switching on both circuits. You've got continuity on both circuits. I mean, at the end of the day, that's where the circuit splits, right? Is at the switch. Don't be baffled. It should be easy. J. Billy Josh, thank you all, and Andy for the replies. Hey, no problem, matey. I think just press the reset button and just go through it again, step by step. Make some notes, and I think you'll find it'll be an obvious fault. Now then, Pete Woodfine. Hello, Andy and crew. Good morning, Pete. Welcome back to the workshop, sir. 1967 DKB. Joke. What do you call a kiwi with a sheep under each arm? A playboy. That probably won't go down too well with some of the Kiwi farmers. But hey, it's just a joke, right? I knew where that joke was going the minute I started to read it. J. Billy Josh, David Lane 3000. Pitch black in the UK, lol. Hang on. Scroll down. Boom. Right. Simon. Start from the input for power and chase from where you have found power from. Connor K, how is the electrical work at your shop progressing? Ooh, dare I take you outside? We'll do a little walk around. Let's see if we can do this. I've got stuff on the trailer which you're not allowed to see, so I'll be very, very careful with the camera. So let's do the stuff in the workshop first. I'll turn you around. 3, 2, 1, boom. Okay, so this is, good segue there, Connor, by the way. This is the 16 amp outlet for, in the workshop, and that currently is powering the big air compressor, which is working wonderfully well. I was using that yesterday when I was doing the spraying because I can adjust the pressure a lot easier than wandering out to the other sheds. So worked fantastic, a lot happy with that now. And I made him a little standoff bracket thing to hold it, which I was quite pleased about. I spent a while making that. So he was quite impressed by that as well, which is nice. The socket, originally I was going to put it horizontally, so the plug goes in from the side. But he said, no. These, here in New Zealand, they have to be pointing downwards. I imagine it's to keep the rain out of the contacts and stuff. That's the idea behind it. So there you go. It's probably going to flicker a little bit, but anyway, we'll do our best. So it's all conduited. There's all the conduit down there. Look, boom, 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 boom. Go slowly, Andy. Go slowly. And then it does a 90, and then it goes across the top, and it goes out the corner somewhere down there. Okay, right. How are we going to do this? If you see any blue, right, you're going to have to ignore it because I'm doing my best here. It's not easy on a live stream. I'm going to turn you around again so you see me for a second. I know, it's not what you want to see, really. Okay, here we go. Okay. This is going to be fun. Okay, bear with me. Bear with me. Bear with me. Oh, live streams. Right, I can turn you around now. There we go, look. Right, so... if I'll just reverse up a little bit, we've got the power from the house that then comes out. Ooh, I've got to dodge all the plates, trundles along there, look, dum 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 under there, and then it runs along and into the distribution box. And then obviously we've got, I haven't even opened this. Is it open? Hang on, I don't even know how it opens. Oh, there we go, look. So we've got got the main feed in, and we've got the 4 lines coming out. There we go. And 3 of the lines go down here. He's made a pretty neat job of that, I think. And then you go into the cabinet. This will have all 3 air compressors in at some point. We've got the 3 outlets, all separate circuits, all 16 amp, which is brilliant. That was quite successful, wasn't it? Okay. Trying to keep the blue out of the photo. Now the other line, that comes out of the top, does a little loopy thing, and then goes into some conduit. You can see just under there, look. Oh, I can't really show you that bit because it's sort of behind the, hang on, bear with me. It's still a bit messy around here. There you go, like you see it's coming down there, boom, 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 and into the workshop. Nice. Okay, very careful with the camera now. So there you go, that's everything really, isn't it? Oh geez, nearly. Bikes everywhere. Okay, shut the door. Oh, back into the safe zone. Right, turn the camera around, 3, 2, 1, boom. Now, we're going to need to get this pie put in, aren't we? Let's crack on with the pie now and get that warming up because I'm getting hungry. So, and then we'll talk about the electric again shortly. Honestly, every time I put this camera down, even though it hasn't moved on the point pivot, it's never actually level again. There we go. Right, that's oh, is that going to work? I don't know. That's better. Right, okay. So, today's pie, I've gone back to the go-to pies out of the freezer because I've not really been out and about too much. I was busy on Friday trying to get home. So we've got the Patiki Bakery steak and mushroom. Now, if you remember last week, what was it? Steak, cheese and bacon, I think it was, did phenomenally well. I was reviewing the scores of Mrs. Mechanic post live stream. And she was telling me that the pie server attractiveness, we gave the young lady a 6. In actual fact, Mrs. Mechanic post live stream, because we actually rang Mrs. Mechanic, didn't we? She said to me, believe it or not, she would have actually got a good strong 8. She was stunning. However, the reason why she only got a 6 is because when Mrs. Mechanic walked into the bakery to get the pies, she was completely ignored. There was no good morning. There was just nothing. It was quite a sterile environment. It was really weird. She felt quite awkward being there. And it was only when Mrs. Mechanic came to pay for the pies did the young lady behind the counter even acknowledge that she was there, which was really weird. You know, I mean, it's all about, I mean, it's not just about how she looks and how she's prepared herself for the day. It's all about, you know, just that feeling of being welcome into that pie shop. You know, same with a pub. You know, when you walk into a pub, it's like, hey, now that Andy, do you want the regular? Yep, I'll have the same. Thank you very much. You know, it's that feeling of being wanted to be there. And that absolutely did not exist whatsoever at that particular pie shop. So Mrs. Mechanic knocked her down to a 6, which I thought was fair. You know, you've got to take all that into account. Anyway, so we've got the steak and mushroom. We're going to whop it out of the bespoke bag, because it's you know, same bag as before, but with steak and mushroom on the front. Oh my word, we've got quite a bit of the phyllo pastry stuff, is it? You know, there we go, falling off. Yeah, look, we'll do a little vertical test. Right, quick spin round. Dum 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 dum. Oh, there's millions of comments going through, more than normal to be fair, which I don't mind. It's quite good actually. I'll try and catch up shortly. Okay, there is the pie. Let's go and underside. Sorry, there you go, underside. Pretty good. Let's go and stick it in the pie warmer and get this warming up. Turn you around. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Okay, here we go. Right. Dum 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 dum. Great camera work, Andy. Look at that. Pie on the move as we narrow through here. Pie on the move. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom, boom. Now, 23 minutes, we know, is the perfect time in the pie warmer. Excellent. Yes, I know it needs a major clean. Not too good with the domestic stuff, to be honest. Right, back to the bench. Let's try and crack on with those comments. 3, 2, 1, boom. Right, hopefully the tripod should be about right. Useless as always. Yeah, I think we're about there, aren't we? There we go. Okay, so electrics. Just a quick recap before we get on to the comments. You've seen what they've done. That was extremely expensive. Far more expensive than I actually anticipated. To give you an idea, obviously I made the bracket for the socket in the workshop, so that wasn't included in the quote. They were probably on site. They could have done that. There was 2 lads. One was the main electrician and one was an apprentice. I forget his name, but he was a nice lad. And he was sort of learning to hold his drill straight for a start. Anyway, he got there. That cost, including GST, and GST tax is 15% here in New Zealand, $4,700. Yes, it pains me to say it. I was expecting maybe about half that, in all honesty. The materials, so the wire and the sockets and so on, I know they're pretty expensive here now. They've gone up a lot, but man, I think you'd have had some change out of $1,000, out of $1,000. Well, mind you, there is the box as well, I suppose. So maybe $1,300, $1,400 for the materials, including the wire. It's pretty hefty cable that comes from the internal fuse box in the house to the sub box, which it needed to be. That was the whole idea. But still, $4,700, very steep, to be perfectly honest, for a day's work. But anyway, it's done now. We had to get it done. I didn't have the time to do it. It was especially the stuff from the distribution, the sub box outside would have needed to be done by an electrician anyway, because they get pretty arsy about that kind of stuff. It's all been signed off. It's all to code. It's all working correctly. And when Mrs. Mechanic was sandblasting, we had the same number of compressors as normal. She did notice that the pressure in the cabinet, the actual basically the machine was working better than it had done previously. I would suggest that there's probably less of a volt drop to the motors on the compressors because of the larger cable size. So they're actually able to do a bit more work. You know, maybe the pumps, the RPMs are a little bit higher. I don't know, but you know, proof's in the pudding. She said it worked slightly better, so that's great news. I do actually have the ability now, which wasn't originally planned because the socket in the workshop originally was going to be piggybacked onto one of the circuits outside, one of the 3 outside, because I won't be using the air compressors and a welder at the same time. It's just never going to happen. So on all 3 circuits anyway. But anyway, they decided to do 4 separate lines, which means I could actually leave the big air compressor in the workshop and buy another smaller one. It's the same size pump and everything, just a smaller tank, and actually have 3 in the cabinet. And that would actually free up a bit of space in the cabinet as well. And it would give us another air compressor in the system, which would probably improve the use of the cabinet's operation again. Mrs. Mechanic's sort of going, oh, do you need to spend the money? And basically I don't. I'm sort of more interested to find out if that would actually make it any better or not. What I would like to be able to do is to be able to measure free airflow, but I don't have a device to do that. I'm only the only calculations I've got. You know, I can only do a calculation of 75% of what the rating of the machine, each machine is. In reality, I think the cabinet needs about 38 CFM of free air. So we're probably about that with all the compressors running, but who knows? Maybe in reality we're below. So then there is still some ability to improve the cabinet's performance. Don't know. Just don't know. Can you buy a device that you can put in line that will measure actual CFM through the pipe? I don't know. Maybe I'll make an inquiry. It'd be quite interesting to find out. Maybe that would be a lot cheaper than buying another compressor, but you know, plus you could monitor it. I don't know. I like to measure stuff. Right, where do we get to? My coffee's really cold now. Oh, geez. Hang on. So there you go. Thank you, Connor, for that fantastic segue. You got me outside the workshop, which I did promise you last weekend, and I completely forgot about it. So really pleased you brought that up because I would probably have forgotten about it again today. But this time around, at least that other socket's done as well, so that's good. Vijayant, put power from your battery and you will be able to check if it's your bulbs. I'm hoping it's not. I think he's already checked the bulbs. J. Billy Josh, Vijayant Governor, that's how I tested the 2 bulbs, bud. Good. Simon, had the Chariot been scratched yet? No. The Chariot, because I put new springs on it. I think it was Thursday night last week, wasn't it? Did the run fine, no problems at all. Tires didn't touch the arches. Springs, even though they're actually rated a bit less because they're new springs, they're still a bit stiff, and you know it did the job. That was the important thing. But I have voiced my opinion, and they've accepted that. So that trailer will be replaced at some point in the future, which is good. With this side of Christmas, probably not. Probably early in the start of next year, they will be getting rid of it and getting a new one. Simon, pin fitment can be an issue too. Yeah, they can. I've had them on the patrol where they've been quite loose and then they burn their contacts. Sheldon, so check the little plugs that go on the back of the bulbs. You can usually, some of them have like a little plastic cover on that you can clip off and have a little look inside, but check those terminals, make sure they're nice and tight on the bulbs and they're not burnt. Sheldon, Hyas went for a waft this week and we went to a new place and they failed it for a rear seatbelt anchorage point. I mean, it's an import, so it's been checked on entry to country, had VTNZ WAF and AA WAF. Well, Sheldon, just for your reference, certification overrules warranty fitness. So if there is no damage, i.e. corrosion or modifications around that seatbelt anchorage, they have to pass it. That's a fact. Certification overrules warranty fitness. That's a fact. Right. Good job, Sheldon. Let me know how you get on. Have the argument, why not? John Nuttall, have they told you to put plasters over your ear studs for the filming lot. No, they haven't told me that. However, I did have to load the ROV onto the trailer on Friday morning, and they got me a nice new crash helmet, which was good because I needed a new one. My old one was absolutely knackered, and you know, like an idiot, put my crash helmet on. I thought, this is quite comfy. It's a nice little crash helmet. It's only what I call a piss pot, an open face helmet, and you know, drove the vehicle on the trailer, got out, came to take the helmet off, and yeah, that was a bit of a problem actually. Didn't really think it would be a problem. I had no idea. But as I was pulling the helmet off, of course, my ears started to roll around, and oh man, it got really painful. It's like I was trying to rip the earrings out with studs. So yeah, can be aware of that. But no, they've not said anything about the having my ears pierced for the filming, which is good. I'm very pleased about that. However, I was told by one of the marketing lads, you need to lose that ponytail for the filming. That's not the look we want. And I'm like, what? Really? Okay. Okay. I mean, end of the day, you know, I'm being hired, I suppose, as an actor. That's what I'm doing, really, isn't it? You know, I'm playing the part and portraying the character that they want to portray. So in that respect, they're in every right to ask for a particular look. I mean, I've done a little bit of done a bit of extra work over the years on telly. What was it? Broken Wood Mysteries, I think it was that I was in. I was in a couple of those episodes, and so I was a policeman actually. I didn't have a ponytail then, but I'm sure they would have told me to lose the ponytail if I was a policeman. Yeah, I'll just wear it really low. I mean, I'm going to be wearing a baseball cap. I've seen those already. So I'll just wear it really low, and then that way I can wear my helmet with ease. But yeah, getting the helmet on and off is going to be fun, isn't it? At least this time I'm forewarned, whereas before I just tried to pull it clean off as you would do a normal helmet, and it was like, whoa, you know, not good. Thanks, John. George Bolly 90, hello everyone. Big thumbs up. Cheers, George. J Billy Josh, nice trip box. That's what? Nice trip box. Oh yes, you mean the circuit breaker box. It is pretty tidy, isn't it? If I'd had an input on which sub box they were going to use, my preference would have been to go for a steel one, as more of an industrial style rather than plastic, because we have a digger and I move pallets around and stuff, and I'm going to have to be super careful around that box now. Either that or make some kind of a steel cage to go over it to protect it. I'm just a bit dubious. Don't want to break it. Could be a problem. Just basically, I don't move pallets around that area. I know. David Lane, 3,000 watt power do you use, 110 or 240? We're on 240 volt, obviously AC here in New Zealand. I think it's more like 250 volt, to be honest. Oh, that is really cold. Jeffrey Boyle, one of those and a spanner. Cheers, mate. Simon Roll, looks more like Kawasaki than blue. What does? You mean, did you spot me in the garden? I'll tell you now, there's no Kawasaki's in the garden. Daniel Bennell. Hello, Andy. Good morning, Daniel. Hope you're all good, sir. Doing some siding on my mum's house. Now, I did hear a little plink. It might have been, jeez. So I'm going to plug that for a second. Nearly took the tripod out. What have we got here? Oh, shit. Oh, Daniel, there we are. Look, some photos for you all. Oh, yeah. Nice. So you've done the windows, and now you're doing the siding. So we've got, oh, I see. So we've got a different colour at the top. So the new stuff, is the new stuff the white stuff? Bear with me. I don't know. Tell me, Daniel. Looks pretty good, though. It is. No, the new stuff is the grey stuff at the top. There, look. Very smart. Very smart, actually. Quite modern. Where's the other picture? There, look. So you can see the new stuff on top and the old stuff down the bottom, by the looks of it. If I've got that wrong, I'm in trouble, aren't I? Or maybe that other stuff, is that other stuff just like the insulation that sits behind? I don't know. I'm sure Daniel will put me straight. Because you can see like a metal rib, can't you? Anyway, I'm not a housey person. Daniel will tell us. Sheldon sent me a picture. Ooh. Hang on. This is the seatbelt mount. There you go, look. What they're saying, too feeble? It is quite thin metal, isn't it? To be fair. But, yeah, I can see it probably shouldn't have passed cert because it's got to have metal. I can't remember the distance. Is it 75 mil or 50 mil? It's got to have metal support, you know, that distance all the way around the bolt. And clearly that hasn't. It's sort of hanging in the air, isn't it? So maybe that's why they've got upset. I don't know. What are you going to do? Take the seatbelt out? Is it... Because your van's only got 3 front seats, right? Is that right? Because you transport bikes and stuff around with it. Don't know. But that doesn't look right to me. Well spotted, Mr. Warrant man, person. Surprising how they saw that, though. Given the fact that during a warrant of fitness, they're not allowed to remove anything. And that looks like it's behind a panel. So did they remove the panel to gain access? If so, not allowed to do that, gentlemen. Shouldn't be doing that. The Giants, Andy and crew, can anyone please help me with go-kart plans? As I didn't get any help. Castrol Oil, BP UK, GB, all local. Yeah, I'm actually I'm annoyed with Castrol because when I was a kid in the UK, they ran a UK competition for schools. This is for school kids to build a go-kart. And they had I remember there being a booklet, like a book, which ran through what the competition was about and how to build it, the basics of how to build a go-kart. And I've been trying to get hold of a copy, and to no avail. I did have a copy at home when I was a kid. Mum, if you're watching, I need to find that. But we can't find it. We don't know where it is. I've asked Castrol UK, I've asked a couple of Castrol reps, I've asked Castrol here in New Zealand, and they're all like, really? Did we do that? We have no idea. It's too long ago. They've lost everything. It wouldn't have been stored on a computer. It was a print only manual. Obviously, so I'd have been about 14 years old maybe at the time. So this is a long time ago. Then there will be plenty of books out there on how to build a go-kart. I can even Google it for you right now. Bear with me, because there will be, because loads of people build go-karts. How to build. Go-karts, gearheads. I think actually you could even just watch some of Colin Furr's videos. I'm sure he's made a go-kart as well. Yes, how to build a go-kart frame on Amazon. Right, hang on, I'm going to click onto that and we'll have a look. Oh, it's on Kindle. What the hell? 24 simple steps with detailed plans. Kindle edition. Okay, well, like I say, there are lots and lots of books out there. That one was pretty cool, actually. I'll turn it around and show you that one. Here you go. Get rid of that. Boom. Right, turn you around. 3, 2, 1, boom. There you go. That's on Amazon. How to build a go-kart frame. Looks pretty simple to me. But there are plenty of other books. There will be loads of books out there. Just see if you can get a hardback book, and then you can have a good read and make some notes and stuff as well. Should be pretty easy. But yeah, shame about Castrol though, because I remember it was a really good book. It was really simply written for school kids, very step-by-step, explaining why you incorporate, diagonals and triangles in the design for strength and so on. It was good. It was really good. Right. Daniel sent you some pictures on Facebook. You have. Simon was thinking, are the monkey bike alarms disabled for when for the showroom to stop them going off all the time when someone sits on them? There's been a bit of confusion around the monkey bike's alarm. However, I have thought of something as well. You have to set the alarm, first of all. So you turn the key off, you pull the key out. At this point in time, the alarm is not set. It's only when you press just the on button. I can't remember what it was called, but on the fob, turn it on, you get the beep that acknowledges the signal coming in to say, oh, I've heard the signal. And then you get another beep about a second later, and then the red light starts to flash on the dashboard, indicating that the alarm is on. The problem we encountered is we could still move the bike around. Now, it does say you can adjust the sensitivity of the bike, but hey, it was so insensitive, it was useless. So I'm going to have a play around with that when I have time. But also, we couldn't disarm it from the fob, and we couldn't do the call me thing as well. So that didn't work. But I think possibly it might have a proximity fob. So if I'm still, if the fob's still within a certain radius of the bike, in range, so to speak, then the alarm doesn't go off because it realizes it's the owner, potentially, unless it's somebody stole the fob, that's moving the bike around. So what I'll have to do is set the alarm, get rid of the fob, get it out of range, I don't know, take it for a drive somewhere, and then try and steal the bike then and see if the alarm goes off. So that's one possibility, is it might be a proximity fob. But it still doesn't explain why you can't disarm the bike or do the call me from the fob. Problem. There's definitely something not right with it. But I haven't even spoken to the Honda dealer yet. Maybe next week I'll have a chance to flick him an email. I've just been really busy, really busy, and it's not priority at the moment. Now then, hang on. But good point, Simon. Good point. But I think in the showroom they just wouldn't set the alarm. Daniel, during Hurricane Ian, I also installed the 2 front windows on the first floor. Ooh. So they must have got damaged today because of the hurricane. Daz 323323. What season were you in Broken with Mysteries? I don't remember. It was filmed. This would be. Oh man, I was looking at Silver. Wow. Geez, this would be about 6 or 7 years ago. 7 years ago, maybe. Around that time, whatever season they were on then. We're on now, 2022. So about 2015, 16. Probably about 2015, I would say. We were doing on the actual. I've actually got the box set. I'll see if I can try and find it and let you know next weekend if I remember. But I was in a forest, along a forest line. We were looking for a dead body, and down by a river as well. There were a few places, and in the video, in the episode, we had a map. I remember it distinctly. You know how they obviously got a search area, and then they grid the search area on the map, and then there's big crosses in each area that they've searched that they've not found anything. Well, I got the part, not a speaking part, I think, from memory, but I got the part to put my hand into shot and draw an X in one of the boxes. Famous. I can't remember if I said anything or not, actually. Did I have a line? I don't know. Probably didn't get paid enough for a line. Now then, hang on. J. Billy Josh. We have steel in the UK, bud. What? What are you on about? I have steel. Everybody has steel. J. Billy Josh. J. Billy Josh. Oh, steel boxes. Yeah, sorry. There's so many conversations going on. It's quite difficult to keep all the threads in my head. Yes, I would have preferred a steel one. They seem to like the plastic stuff over here, but you can get the steel ones, but they're a lot more money. I put a steel one here in the workshop for that very reason. It's a bit more durable, you know, a bit more. It can cope with a few knocks. Sheldon. Sheldon says, can't see that unless you pull the panel off. But steel goes all the way back, the recoil part of the seatbelt. Okay. Well, the argument, Sheldon, is they should not have removed the panel. That's a fact. You're not allowed to remove anything for a warrant of fitness. So have a chat with them because, hey, if it's a new site, they need to know that you know, right? J. Billy Josh, you from the UK, Andy, or if so, where? Yes, originally from the UK, born in Kendal, dare I say it, whisked back to Yorkshire very quickly, and lived really, I suppose York was my hometown for many, many, many years. And then from there moved up towards Malton, lived in Malton, up the A64 for a while. Before that, actually, I lived in a place called Sheriff Hutton. Richard III has one of his castles there. It's not in a very good state anymore, but you know, he has a castle or had a castle there, and the castle's still there. Lived there until I was probably 18, 19, 20, around that time. Yeah, 20. No, 20. I mean, 21st birthday in Barcelona. So it was after that when I came home that I sort of moved out. Really, yeah, 21. It's a good age to move out, I suppose. Start your own life, do your own stuff. And then moved up to a forest up on the North Yorkshire moors and lived there for many, many years. Great fun. I like being in the forest. Good. Middle of nowhere. I like that. Shit internet, but the rest of it was good. Now then, Simon. Well, as you know, I work in a school. We'll ask if the technology department, a load of stuff like that went in the skip last summer. Oh, thank you, Simon. See if you can do some digging. They might still have it because I think most schools got sent it. So it'd be really good if we can find a copy. And at least we can scan it and I can do a digital version of it. And then anybody could have it. I mean, it'd be a great thing to include when I get around to doing Jared's Go-kart, which is probably more rusty now than when I first got it. And there's a lot of cobwebs on it. But it's going to get done, and I'm really looking forward to doing it. I really, really am. And I think there's some improvements we can make as well. So go for it, Simon. Thank you. Vijayant, thank you, Andy, for all your help. No problem, Vijayant. That's what we're here for. Collaborative assistance. Daniel, new white vinyl siding. You had it backwards. Oh, I thought I might have done. Sorry, Daniel. Looks very smart, by the way. You can come and do my house. It's terrible. It needs a good paint. Simon, put the FOD in tin foil. Put the FOD in tin foil. What are you on about? Fob. Oh, put the fob in tin foil. Yes, that's a good idea. Yes, protect it from, yeah, perfect. I'll do that. Sheldon's retracted his message. He probably started jumping up and down swearing. J. Billy Josh, Kendal, been there on holidays. Loved the area and York. I'm from Newark in Nottinghamshire. Been to Newark. I went to college in Loughborough, just north of Leicester. The college I enjoyed the college, but I didn't really enjoy living down there, to be perfectly honest. At any possible chance, I would jump on the CM200 twin and blast my way back up home again for the weekend. Used to ride back on a Friday night. It was about 120 miles, if I remember rightly. And sometimes I go on the M1, sometimes I go on the A1, get home, and then Saturdays and Sundays I worked. I had a weekend job, and then I'd ride back on Sunday night. Do college again Monday morning. I was pretty busy. I was a busy chap, really busy chap. I've always been busy. David Lane, 3000. We have a big castle in Berkeley. I bet your castle's in better condition than one in Sheriff Hutton, must admit. J. Billy Josh, where you go in Newark, bud? I've been to Newark, probably collecting a vehicle. I used to do a lot of dealer transfer car swaps for our dealership we had in the UK when I was a teenager, and got to drive all over the UK collecting and delivering cars. I actually really enjoyed it. It was good fun, and it kept the mechanics on the tools making money, and I'd go off and do the collections and deliveries. And sometimes I'd be gone for, a whole day, Sometimes I'd stay overnight. You know, I'd be away for a long time if it was a trip down to Devon or somewhere to do a swap. Bit of a mission, but yeah, been to Newark. Don't really remember it, but I've been there. Was it Ford? What was Ford? No, it was. We did Nissan. Well, it was Datsun, 1972, the year I was born. We started doing Datsun. I don't really remember it. Well, I don't. I think it was Austin before that, or British Leyland. British Leyland, horrible. So we got into Datsuns. Great move, Dad. Well done. That then obviously morphed into Nissan. And then when Nissan GB started the AFG group in the UK, things all went sour because it turned out they were selling cars to the AFG group at a cheaper price than they were selling to the franchise dealers, which, that's illegal. So Mr. Botner went to jail for that. Well done, Mr. Judge. Good job for that one. But the damage was already done. We had to switch brands. We couldn't sustain that level of discounting. We were making no money out of it. They were killing the market. So we took on Renault. And the majority of the dealer transfers I did was with Renault cars. Yeah, it wasn't Ford. Never really been a Ford fan, but I am sort of now because the range is just bloody amazing. I jumped in an Isuzu Ute the other day, a brand new one, to move it at work. And just opening the door, I instantly knew I didn't want one. It was tinny. The door was lightweight. It just felt crap quality. Got in it. The ergonomics in it wasn't great. Couldn't turn the radio off for a start. That was a bit of a ball ache. And just it was on a push start. So that's got a proximity fob with it. Really noisy, very noisy engine. Probably direct injection. Really noisy. Just didn't like it. Didn't like it at all. The reversing camera was of absolutely shit quality. I've seen, well, I don't know where they found the camera from because I've never seen a camera as bad as that for many years. Must have been like $3, or maybe 30 cents, who knows. But yeah, don't want one. I just absolutely do not want one. And I've not even driven it on the open road yet. Oh, the pie has gone ping. I didn't hear that. And nobody reminded me either. Now then. The Giant. Andy the pie. Oh, there we go. Look, Andy the pie's ready. Cool. Okay, we must be about 2 minutes in. I'll go and get it after these two comments. Simon Roll. Funny how Renault own Nissan now. Well, actually, that sort of shows. To be honest, I'm of the opinion that the quality of Nissan cars has definitely dropped. It's nowhere near as good as it used to be. Especially for the domestic sort of cars. They're just nasty. Don't like the new Patrol. Rubbish. J. Billy Josh. I was born in 71. Never knew of a Renault pug. Never knew of a Renault, a Peugeot, a Ford, and Volkswagen dealers. Was it? Can you remember? Where was it? I can't remember. I was like 17, 18 at the time. I cannot remember. It's too long ago. I remember as soon as I got my car license. Actually, would have been. I got my car license when I was. I got my bike license, full bike license at 17. Got my car license. I think I was 19 when I got my car license. Pretty sure I was 19. Because I had my car license before I went to college. Pretty sure. God, a long time ago. I could check for you, but I haven't got my English license with me. I don't know where it is. I have a New Zealand license now, which is pants. They won't even allow me to drive a 7.5-ton truck over here. I mean, seriously. Oh, topic of conversation. Here in New Zealand, I was doing some research on towing capacities. And on a car license here in New Zealand, the maximum weight of your towing vehicle and trailer and load in the towing vehicle, even the occupants and the if it's a ute, the payload in the back, is 6,000 kilograms, 6 metric tons. They're starting now to produce these electric powered utes, which seriously, Obviously, they're carrying pretty large battery packs because utes do a lot of work and they're going to use a lot of power to do that work, especially towing trailers and stuff. So the weight of the battery pack is obviously going to be deducted from your overall. It's going to reduce what you can tow basically and carry, especially for me. So that might actually throw me over with a fully loaded trailer and the weight of the ute and the payload in the ute will probably be well over 6,000 kilograms. I wonder if they're going to change that to accommodate, or whether you're going to be restricted to what you can tow. Time will tell. Right. It's time for a pie because I'm getting really hungry because my coffee's freezing cold now. Right. Yes, I got that, Billy Josh, but I just can't remember. Right, let's go get the pie. Turn you around. 3, 2, 1, boom. Jeez, we're 55 minutes in and we're just getting the pie out of the pie warmer. Honestly, Mrs. Mechanic's going to go mental. I've got to get that. I must get that painting finished today before I go away so we can get the kits put together when I get back. Ooh, look at that. Oh my word, it's a bit soft. Right, support the pie, Andy, support the pie. There you go, with 3 cracks there, look. Looks nice. Perfect golden brown though, isn't it? Okay, close the door. Dum 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 dum. Dum dum dum. Pie to the bench. Okay, where should we put it? I'll stick it on the bag. Just there we are. Look, somewhere safe. That's good. Right. Turn you around. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Okay. Woohoo! Pie time. Okay. Move the camera a little bit. Sorry about the vibration going on there. Hopefully the camera won't fall off. Okay. So, quick look around the pie proper. Now, for those that have just joined us, we have to do this, don't we? Because people do join us and come and go as they want. This is one of the Paitiki bakery pies. There you go. Look, this is a steak and mushroom. I do like mushrooms. Never really go for steak and mushroom pies, so we'll give this one a go. They're based in Taupo. They've got 2 shops. Same information as last week, to be fair. And what I have done this week, because it's the same brand of pie, is I've kept on my score sheet some of the scores, so we are consistent, because I always forget what I've given certain brands for, like, you know, availability, that kind of thing. Right, so we're going to go in. What's the lid like? Because remember last time we had a bit of a break on the lid, didn't we? Now, this lid seems to be pretty well glued down, which is good. Okay, underside. Boom, boom, boom. There you go. Quick spin round. We might have a... Oh, no, it's not too bad. So we've got 3 cracks down the side. Another crack on that side there, look. So it doesn't feel particularly strong, so we'll be very, very careful with this. Oh, we have got a bit of a lift on the lid. There, look. You see that? That bit there is loose. Okay, so, you know, the glue's not so good on these pies. Right, I'm going in. It is still quite hot. Oh, wow. Very flexible. Ooh. You can see right into the pie, look. There's a huge void above the meat. It tastes pretty good though. And we've got a big sag on the base. I don't know if you can see that or not, but we've got a huge sag, so I'm gonna have to try and support that. This could be in fact, I'm gonna go for the vertical pie eating method because I need to take some of the stress off that base. Remember on the last pie, the base was really thin, but it was actually quite strong. It did really well. This one is just a bit too soft, to be fair. A lot of the flaky pastry falling off. It does taste pretty good. I'm going to have a few munches on this one before we start scoring it because I need to try and stabilize the pie. It's good pie management to stabilize your pie before you get distracted. Wow. Okay. So, general flavor. So the first one is taste flavor contents. First of all, can't really taste the mushrooms yet. Haven't hit a mushroom, just hit the meat. Meat's pretty good. Last week's was absolutely amazing. This one tastes not quite so amazing. Not yet, anyway. I'm going to give it I'm going to give it a 6 for overall flavour. Now, structure Foley partners, we're going to hold that one in abeyance because at the moment it's not. It's not good at all. I'm really struggling, but it is staying together. But I'm having to use both hands. This is definitely not a single-handed pie for sure. Mushroom. Had a mushroom there. That's good. Okay. Runability test. Well, we can definitely do that now. So that's 45 degrees, 30 seconds. We might, oh geez, we might have some spillage. Oh, we've definitely got movement. I might have to abort the test. I don't want to lose my contents. Oh, and you can see a bit of mushroom there, look. Is that on the front? So 45 degrees. Don't hold back, Andy. It's a test. Right, it has sort of congealed. It's not moving anymore now, but it's really hanging out there, isn't it? It's not ideal. Right, so runnability. It's right on the borderline, isn't it? You know, if you were waving the pie around, you'd be losing some big chunks of content there. I'm going to go for, I mean, you know, if it's rock solid, it gets a 10, right? It's not rock solid. There was definitely movement at the start. I'm going to give it a 7, I think, for now. It might change. We'll see how things progress. These are only tentative scores at the start. Every score is up for a review as we go through the pie review. Now, meat quality. Remember last week we had huge chunks of really tasty meat. That hasn't happened with this particular pie. A lot smaller pieces for whatever reason. Oh, here we go. A chunk of meat. A proper chunk. Okay, so meat quality. That taste, the meat itself tastes exactly the same as last week. Although we're not getting as many large chunks of this particular pie. But it's about the quality, not the quantity, so pretty good. I'm going to give that one an 8, I think. Pie to crust ratio. Well, it should score very high with this. Lots of content and not a lot of pastry, because the pastry is very, very thin. However, remember on the original shot, we saw a huge air gap inside the pie where the lid had lifted right off. I'm just going to peel the lid back a little bit without compromising the structure. I'll put my finger underneath. There you go, look. There's not a huge depth of content. Adult dating site. What the hell? Chat 69. That's the first one we've had on the actual, as a comment. I'll get rid of that straight away. I'm going to report that. Go away. Pornography, yes. Let's get rid of that. Report. Boom. You are shot. Excellent. And we will remove it. Perfect. That's good. Hopefully it won't mess the rest of the comments up. Where do we get to? Pie to crust ratio, yes. So you know, there could be more content, to be fair. It's not over full. It's, you know, the other pie had definitely had more contents to it. So pie to crust ratio. It's a difficult one. I think an 8. I'll give it an 8. I'll give it an 8. It's not bad. Could be slightly better though. Right, I'm going in. It is tasty though. I'll give them that. Pastry taste rating. Okay, so what have we got? Trying to get some pastry off without destroying the pie. First of all, a bit of the flaky pastry. Flaky pastry. Slightly weird aftertaste. Right, now we're going to go for some pie pastry, the actual carcass pastry. It has got a little bit of meat on it though. Pretty tasty though. Pretty tasty and not greasy, which is good. Don't like greasy pastry. See how thin that pastry is, look around there. Super thin pastry. Okay, I'm going to give that one, I'm going to give it an 8. 8's not bad. Still tasty when cold. We can't answer that yet. It's still too hot. Just a quick meat check. There we go. Look, it's got some nice big chunks of meat there. Now, some of the previous scores already put in from last week. Availability logistics. These pies are only available from these 2 bakeries in Taupo. The bakeries are, again, there look, Patiki Bakeries, and they have 2. This one is from the Rifle Range Road store. So they only get a 2 for that. Packaging design, I gave them a 7 last week, and it's an identical packet, so they're going to get a 7 again. And recyclable score, it's recyclable, it's paper, but they don't tell us it's recyclable, which they lose 1 point for that. They could have printed a little recycle symbol on there if they wanted to, and they forgot, so they lose a point for that. And the pie server attractiveness, which normally we score right at the end, she got a 6. Very nice looking young lady. Mrs. Mechanic purchased these pies. She referred back. She would have scored an 8 if she'd been a bit more pleasant. You know, when you arrive at the store and, hey, good morning, how's it going? That's all it takes. You'll be made to feel welcome. Oh, first burp. Remember that. Right, we're going in. It's actually quite a tasty pie. It really is. I prefer the other one from last week because of its bacon, you know, but this is still very tasty. It's very flexible at the moment. I'm having to really support the pie to hold it all together. This pie would definitely have, you know, self-destructed, causing a pie-tastrophe if I hadn't implemented the management techniques of pie support. Massive chunk of meat. Really tasty. Okay, meat quality. We gave it an 8. It might be pushed to a 9. That was really, really good. Really good. What else we got? Post heartburn, we've had 1 burp so far. Stuffability score, we've not finished. Still tasty when cold. I'm not a fan of cold mushrooms. In all honesty, I'm not. That's the one thing that I'm thinking, maybe it won't taste that good cold. Another big chunk of meat. Right, we're going to go up to 9 for the meat quality. That was really good. Structure Foley Partners, we're about there now. It's not great, is it? In all honesty. We've got all sorts of stuff falling off now. What do you reckon? 6? I mean, it hasn't collapsed. Nothing's fallen off other than a bit of puff pastry. But I think a 6. I think a 6 is fair. The other pie last week from the same bakery was a lot better on the structure. It just to say hung in there. This one is really starting to break up. There's a distinct difference between the two. Okay, I think it's about time we can finish this actually, and then do the stuffability score. So we're going to munch the rest of the pie down now. Have a slurp of my cold coffee. Cheers, Steve. I wonder if he's watching. I hope he is. I hope he's all right. Steve from Simply Diagnostics is on a major recovery session at the moment. He's been very poorly, for those that don't know. And hopefully, we're all hoping that one day he's going to come back to YouTube. Man, this pie is sort of getting better the more I'm getting into it. Actually, I'm really impressed. Right, the last piece. It's still got a piece of meat waiting for me as well, which is good. Okay. Do I feel stuffed? Has it done the job? It has, actually. It really has. I'm not hungry at all. That has worked a treat. I'm not over full, you know, I've got work to do. I don't mean, you know, falling asleep, but I'm not hungry anymore. It's done its job. Now, I think this is at the pinnacle of maximum score. If I felt overfull, bloated, you know, then the score would drop. If I was still hungry, the score would drop. So I'm gonna give it a 10. I am gonna give it a 10 on that one, because it's done what I needed it to do, and it's done it very well. Post heartburn factor, we've had one burp. That's been it. So it gets a 9. Now, would it still be tasty when cold? This is obviously my own preference. Not a fan of cold mushrooms at all. Mushrooms have to be nice and hot for me. So it's going to lose, I think, a point for that. Nice big chunks of meat. Pastry wasn't greasy. Greasy pastry when cold is disgusting. I'm going to give it an 8. I don't think it's any more than that. I'm going to give it an 8. So I think we've got all the scores now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh, it's just lost another one. So, geez, we're down to 8 on the post heartburn. Right, I'm just going to show you the bench because there's a lot of puff pastry down here. Turn you around. 3, 2, 1, boom. Look at that. It's everywhere, isn't it? You know, I mean, I've not been eating it as we've been going along. Once it's on the bench, it stays on the bench, right? Usually, anyway. And there's a bit on the floor as well. Okay, so I'll tidy that up later on. Let's get this thing scored. And then we'll have to go and get one of those magnetic strips because I didn't actually get one out this morning. I knew there was something I hadn't done. Okay, this is where the arithmetic, hopefully what led us down. 12. And then we're up to 19 now, aren't we? 19, 28, 36, 38, 46, 54, 61, 70, 78, 88, 94. So someone can check that for us because, you know, I'm only human. There are the scores again. So we've got 6, 6, 7, 9, 8, 2, 8, 8, 7, 9, 8, 10, and 6. And I get 94 for that. Right, let's go for a little wander and get one of those magnetic strips. Boom. Right, here we go. Dum 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 dum. Dum dum dum. We store them in here, in the Tool Girl cabinet, which hasn't had any use for a long time. Let's grab one of these. That'll do. We'll have that one. Perfect. Super job. All right, back to the bench. Not too fast because YouTube get really upset. There we go. Look, coming down. How's my arithmetic? Is it any good? Correct, 94. Thank you very much, chaps. Appreciate that. It's not often to make a mistake, but you know, I do sometimes. Because it is Sunday morning, don't forget. Your brain never works quite as well on Sunday morning. Right, so it's a P-A-E-T-I-K-I bakery. And it's a steak and mushroom. And it got 94. And I think it was pretty tasty. There we go. So I think the biggest drawback to that pie was the structure side of it. That's what we need to improve. The structure wasn't great. Okay, let's go and find out where that ends up on the leaderboard. Still, you know, it's quite a lower score to what we had last week, isn't it? Is it going to focus? It is. Oh, look at that. Almost focused. There we are. 94. Right. Oh, there we are. Look, straight in. Perfect. Almost like it was planned, but it wasn't. So they are on the main board, which is good. All these pies down here I would recommend. Obviously, the higher up on the leaderboard, the better the pie. But, you know, if I was in Taupo and I was hungry and, you know, maybe they'd run out of, where was it? the oh, hang on a minute. Patiki Bakery, Lamb's Pies. Man, it's a different place. I thought it was the same place. Oh well, there you go. I would definitely be going for a Lamb's Pies at 104 if they were open. If they weren't open, I'd then go around to the Wild Bean Cafe and get a gourmet steak and cheese, which is my go-to. But if I wanted something different, I wouldn't have a problem in going for the Patiki Bakery steak and mushroom. It was actually pretty good. Well done, chaps. That was excellent. Right, back to the bench again. Oh, what else? Oh, Mrs. Mechanic's been boxing up the oh, they're all spare bits. Look at that. You see me bagging up all the fasteners for the kits. Good job, Mrs. Mechanic. They're all ready to be packed up now once we've finished the painting. I haven't done any more videos, been too busy. They're still waiting for that that video on the testing the actual, or in fact the use of a lubricant when using drill bits and countersinks and stuff. So there'll be a video on that at some point. Sorry, the camera's jumping around all over the place. Do it steady, Andy. Do it steady. Pan across, pan across. There we go. Right, back to the bench. Okay. Turn you around. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Get the camera sorted out. That should be about right. It's very different doing a live stream to actually making a video, because you can stop and start whenever you want. What the hell? We've got all sorts of stuff going on here. Oh man, they're going to keep me busy, aren't they? I'm going to report that one. Just bear with me, people. We've got lots of nasty stuff coming through on the comments today, which is really bizarre. That's cool. We'll have rid of that one. Report. This is quite a long-winded process, chaps. Sorry. Do that one. Yes, thank you. We'll do that one. God, there's 5 that came through. This is ridiculous. Come on, YouTube. You just auto delete these things for me. Report. Get rid of that one. Report. Okay. Last one. Last one. Can't be having those on my channel. Remove. There we go. Right. In fact, well, can I still report that one? I can report that. Press the wrong button there. Sorry. Report. Get rid of that. Report. Okay. Right. I think we've cleared up the comments. Let me just carry on back. Right. Simon, the UK has now done away with the towing license. What? Oh, that's terrible. What do you mean towing license? When I got my car license, I was allowed to tow trailers from day one. Oh, that's right. Yes, I remember. A good friend of mine, a bit younger than me, he went for his car license and he wasn't allowed to tow trailers for a while. He had to either do another test or be over, have a few years of driving before he could tow a trailer. So they've gone back to how it used to be. You just get your car test and you can tow, basically. Which I think that's probably how it should be, to be honest. I mean, it's not hard towing a trailer, sure. I find it pretty easy. Although there's a few things you'd be aware of, but they could cover that in the normal test, couldn't they? Questions and things. So where do we get to? Where do we get to? J Billy Josh. Aha, so you had granddad, what? You had granddad rights, but lost it when you were there. Come back, lol. Yes. I can't drive a 7.5 tonner over here, which is a bit of a shit. John Nuttall, do they make an electric farm tractor yet? I bet somebody does. Somebody probably does, and I don't think it's going to be a very good idea because tractors work extremely hard. They use a lot of energy to do their job, and you'd have to tow a trailer full of batteries, wouldn't you? It just begs belief, to be honest. I'm not a fan. Jim K is in the workshop. Good morning, Jim, and welcome back, sir. You made it. Damn customers making me late. Honestly, customers cause so many problems, don't they? They really do. Life would be so much easier if there were no customers. Huh. You made it, Jim. Well done. David Lane 3000, you want some brown sauce? See, I could have the pies with sauce. It's a traditional thing in New Zealand to have. Usually, some ketchup is supplied. If you go into a cafe and ask for a pie, and you eat it in the cafe and they put it on a plate, they'll usually put some ketchup on the plate. That happened to me the other day actually at Esquire's Cafe. But I'm not. I don't have them with sauce. I actually have the pie for the pie. You know. Simon Roll, Spam 69 more like. Yes, you're absolutely right. That sounds like a punk band name, Spam 69. Get it registered quick. I'm sure you could sell that one. Pete Woodfine, could be hard to swallow for some. Okay, that could relate to a number of these comments, Pete. Robert, hey Andy, last week pie looks better. Yes, last week's pie was better without a doubt. Hence the score. It scored nearly 10 points more. Was it 10 points more? It was. Yes, 10 points more on the last week's pie. John Nuttall, a shout out to Steve as he is awesome, and hit the like button crew. Steve is awesome, and we're all thinking about him and wishing him well and a speedy recovery. It's obviously taken him quite some time to bounce back. Steve, take as long as you want, matey. We do miss you though, so just bear that in mind. And there's a lot of people that miss you. Actually, you've made quite an impact within the automotive fraternity. Very, very clever chap, very interesting videos to watch, and super helpful as well. Good mate. Simon, do you think freezing the pie has damaged the structure? There is a possibility, Simon. It's not going to do it any good, is it? That's the only thing. Purple Monkey, correct, 94, thank you. Purple Monkey, how's the monkey bike? In use yet? No, I've still got to do the video of fitting the new rear shocks that we've got for it to lower it down a bit. That was planned for today, if we got all the painting done yesterday, but it got to 7 o'clock last night, and it would have been another 2 hours painting the rest of the stuff, so it was just getting too late. Me and Mrs. Mechanic were knackered. Even despite wearing face masks and all that kind of stuff when you're spraying, and we had the door open, we had a fan on to circulate the air and stuff. The fumes do get to you after a while, and she was getting a bit of a headache, so it's like, nah, let's call it a day. We'll do it tomorrow. I can do the videos another time. It's not imperative. I'll get round to them. It has to be done. She can't ride the bike till it's done, so there's a huge incentive to get that sorted out. Igor Dvoskis, ban it. Hey, not delete. Oh, I did. I report those 5 spam comments have all been reported. So hopefully they'll enter the auto delete thing that YouTube does. Simon, putting the 7.5 ton back on a car license due to the shortage of drivers, and so they should. If you're a good driver, you should be fine driving a 7.5 tonner. I think actually I could drive a 7.5 ton truck with up to a 4.5 ton trailer on the back. That was my absolute limit on the car license that I had. Not that I ever actually utilized it, maybe. I don't know. But we did have the Unimog, but that was registered as a tractor. And that was just, you can drive a tractor. And behind the tractor, we had 3 4-wheel drives. So, there was a bit of weight there. AJ44, hello Andy. We lived in the middle of nowhere. Nobody bothered anyway. AJ44, hello Andy and crew. Late to the party, but I'm here. Well done, AJ. For a friend, as in the shop, welding a trailer and realised I was missing my favourite New Zealander, lol. How's my pie enabler today? I'm fine, actually, matey. I'm absolutely fine. No problems at all. And welcome back to the workshop, AJ. Appreciate it. J. Billy Josh, 8.25 ton in the UK, bud, if had granddad's rights. Oh, okay. Good stuff. But I'm not going back to the UK, sorry. So it's sort of fictitious, really. But yeah, maximum I can drive here, all up 6 tons. That's ute trailer. And I've probably been over that a little bit on some occasions, to be perfectly honest. It's not enough. Igor Stavroskis. I am now thinking on making me a big rig license. I have already a 7.5 ton, but there is very little good paid jobs on them here. So if you go for a bigger truck, you can get decent wage, right? And you said that you're going to make one, so obviously you're very good at, you know, getting a passport photo and making your own license. I'm joking. Good luck with the test. I'm sure you'll be fine. Oh man, we've had another one. What the hell, YouTube? Oh, they just keep coming through. You're gonna have to ignore these spam things that are coming through, people. My sincere apology. We've not had this problem in the past until after the there's loads of them, after the actual live stream has finished. So normally, you know, I go through and delete them all then. Well, not delete them, I report them. Yeah, this is a pain in the ass. Sorry, chaps. Boom, 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 boom. Get rid of those. Nobody wants to see that kind of stuff. One left, two left. Don't know why there's two. Anyway, try that one again. Report. Okay, thank you. I hope it doesn't reflect badly on my site, given the fact it's being targeted for this kind of stuff. Fingers crossed it won't. Right, there we are. They've all gone again. Simon. Oh, got smoke in my eye. The cold has gone now then. Yes, I'm feeling a lot better now. In fact, I hadn't even thought about it for a while. So yes, I'm 100% fighting fit, as always, apart from when I have cold. Robert Imundi. Robert Imundi. In Sydney, 3.5 ton on a car license. Really? Is that all you can drive? Shit. Jay, does that include towing weight? Because I'm talking about towing weight as well when you've got a trailer on the back, 6 tons. J Billy Josh, no, just saying what you had in the UK back then, bud. I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure it was 7.5. That's where I got it from. But you could be right. Maybe it's changed. Simon, all in the stream report then. Yes, please do that. J Billy Josh, you've been hacked, bud. Not YouTube. Oh no, it's not YouTube. It's hackers putting up comments, which I don't like. Daz 323323. Are they supposed to say best pie tasting site? That would be. See, I wouldn't mind that if we got hacked and somebody was promoting pies. It's not the end of the world, is it? But stuff like that, no place on my site with that. So I think we're about there. We'll finish the cigarette and then I think we'll call it a day. What are we on? An hour and 27. So about an hour and a half is what I normally allocate for a live stream. And I think we're about there. What am I doing next week? Well, I've told you, filming. So Monday and Tuesday are the filming days. I've got to drive to Palmerston North tonight. Be there for about 6 o'clock, hopefully. Monday and Tuesday are filming. Wednesday is pack up and come home. Thursday is drive up to Auckland with the vehicles, drop them off, staying in Auckland Thursday night, and then drive back home on the Friday afternoon, which is getting to be quite a common theme at the moment. As soon as this filming's out of the way, so by the end of next week, I've got nothing else scheduled apart from going to Australia for some training, which hasn't been firmed up yet. So yeah, wait and see. There is something else really big in the background, which is a monster trip. To do with work, but not. It's all very tentative at the moment, so I'm not even going to bother mentioning it. But yes, could be quite an exciting trip actually. By the looks of it. Simon, UK was 7.5 ton with a 7.5 ton trailer. Wow, I think you mean a 7.5 kilogram trailer, Simon. I think you mean 7.5 ton trailer. Wow, good stuff. So today, just got some paint, the last brackets to do, which is some right angle brackets. There's about 104 of those to do, maybe a few more. First of all, I've got to separate them because they're handed as well on the 700 kits. Got to stamp half of them left. Hopefully I'll get the right ones, or the left ones, should I say. And the other half with the right stamp. So that's quite noisy. Get that done without Mrs. Mechanic being in the workshop because she's got a bit of a headache this morning. And then she'll come outside and give me a hand. I'll be doing all the dipping, and she'll be putting them up on the ladder under the carport. There's still enough room for all of them, I think, hopefully. AJ44, fat fingers. I was in the shop welding. Oh, did I delete your comment? Sorry, mate. I was in the shop welding a trailer for a friend. I'm addicted to meat pies. Sweet Pea has to buy me meat pies for the fridge in my long haul truck. I eat 1 or 2 a day. I need help. I think you do. I really think you do. We've been bombarded by more spam, so I'm going to call the live stream done. I'll report those once the live stream's over. Thank you all very much for joining. John Nuttall says, image made on the door looks like Fidel Castro to me. Image made on the door. Oh, really? Classic. Okay, crew. Good job, John. If you've not hit the like button yet, now's a really good time because the live stream is just about to end. Thank you all for joining. Really, really appreciate your time and you know, your contributions to these live streams as well. It's a great time for us all to have a bit of a chat, a bit of a wind down after a busy week. Definitely. All right, crew. Until next time, thank you again and take care. Cheers. Over and out.